Like, share, subscribe. Shouts out to the Lions Den community. And don't y'all forget to subscribe to the podcast show. Link will be pinned in the top of the chat.
Just name the channel who can bang with us. I'll prove that you are smoking dust. GTV Media is top notch in this game, y'all. You failures only have your self to blame, y'all. Cricket TV and a weapons make you suckers cry. Why don't you close your channel, crawl into a hole and die? Shout out to those who love our movement, no, we'll never flop until you get your mouth on LDBC. We are the underground outfit, y'all. We built this whole thing by ourselves, no in y'all. Independence start with self-preservation. If you can't take care of self, then how can you build a nation, y'all? Yup, we got that merch for the ladies and yes, we even got that merch for the babies and we got appliances and everything that you will need. We got some banging songs that make anemic haters bleed.
All right, y'all. Press 2 if y'all can hear me in the comments, man. Salute to everybody that's tapped in. Like, share, subscribe. If y'all can hear me, press 2 in the comment section. I appreciate everybody who's showing love to this channel, man. Tapped in. If y'all can hear me, press 2. Let me get a 2 if y'all can hear me. Can y'all hear me? All right, man. Y'all can hear me? All right, man. So the guy they call the great Brian Steele thought he was cooking until he overcooked himself. Now, Brian Steele went on the stand, and I need you guys to see a couple of things. First of all, Brian Steele asked this guy who's on the stand, Mr. Perez, who's one of the assistants, who helped set up some of these nights. Now, again, Mr. Perez said on the stand, and I want to bring this to everybody's attention, to what Mr. Perez said on this stand, right? Now, Mr. Perez says on this stand, and I'm going to read him and Brian Steele's back and forth, because Brian Steele thought he was cooking when he got him to say, hey, yeah, you know, that it seemed as if Jane Doe was a willing participant in these freak-offs. But Brian Steele made a huge mistake, right? And I'm going to show y'all where he made the mistake at. And it's going to come back and bite him in their ass. Now, Brian Steele says, Mr. Combs is a motivator. Yes. Mr. Perez says, yes, he is. Brian Steele says, have you seen Mr. Combs cry? Now, I want y'all to think about what he's trying to do. He's trying to normalize, say it again, he's trying to normalize Diddy to the courtroom. But that's not what I'm talking about, right? And I'm going to show y'all this right now, right? Hold on one second. Hold on one second, you guys. For to get it to y'all right now. Hold on one second, you guys. Let me get it to y'all right now, because I want to put this out here right. I want to show y'all something. And I want to show y'all something very closely. Hold on, you guys. Hold on one second. Y'all smash the like button. Y'all come on in. I'm finna show y'all. Let me see. Let me see. Hold on one second. Hold on. Let me get 1 second, y'all. Oh, I just lost my my thing right here. Hold on 1 second, you guys. All right, here we go. Here we go. Right here. Let's go. All right, you guys. So now we got it back. somehow the thread was disappearing. I don't know what was going on, but the thread was disappearing, you guys. I couldn't help it. The thread was disappearing the way it was. The thread had just disappeared on me. How did that thread just disappearing? I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's something online or something like that. But anyways, let me get back to what I screenshotted a couple of these messages. Damn, how the hell did I just lose that thread? All right, you guys, so hold on. Check this out. Because I screenshotted this. Brian Steele made a huge mistake. Brian Steele, while going after this witness, Mr. Perez, right? Brian Steele accidentally Diddy's alibi and his narrative for Brianna Bongolan, the woman who was hung over a 17th floor balcony allegedly, right? And slammed on that furniture. Now, Diddy said, and his team said it was no way he could do it because they have receipts that Diddy, by his alias name, Frank Black, was checked into a hotel across the country, and there's no way he could do that. But Brian Steele today, feeling himself a little too much, Brian Steele exposed that bullshit narrative. Brian Steele asked Mr. Perez on the stand just now, he said the hotel was put in your name. You had to go in and set up the room, right? He said, yes, Mr. Perez. Brian Steele then said, and if the room was registered to Sean Combs, there might be cameras outside, right? He said, right, which shows you why they use aliases to book these people's rooms. Meaning, Diddy might not even have been in the room. They could have booked it under, anybody could have booked it under an alias name and said, oh yeah, this is Diddy's nickname. We're going to book it under Frank Black. Because they're using company information anyways to pay for this stuff. And Brian Steele just torpedoed their defense with Brianna Bongolan because he just showed, right here, he just showed that other people had the ability to book those rooms in either their names or other names. And then it goes on right here. Brian Steele says, you're about the same age as Jane, right? He said, yeah. He said, was Jane strong and an independent woman? Perez said, yes, she was. Here's the question, right? If she was a strong and independent woman, right? Independent, right? Why would they try to paint her out as a money-hungry chick if she was strong and independent as a woman that willingly did the freak-offs for money if she was strong and independent? Then he asked him, you made purchases in the sex store with the company credit card? He said, yes. And then Brian Steele says, but you don't know if Diddy paid? He said, no, what you mean? He would have to get authorization to do that through the company credit card, which would show racketeering, which would show that they used company money that was ran through the company in order. They used company money in order to commit these crimes. Brian Steele and these guys are completely exposing themselves in the biggest way. But the biggest message to expose himself was the message I just showed y'all, this one. And now that goes to show y'all that just because Sean Diddy Combs had a hotel booked in his alias name doesn't mean he was in that room on that day. He could have had that hotel booked in his room, had his staff and them out there, gotten a jet, flown out to the West Coast, and been on the West Coast while his staff was still in the hotel. Because remember, his staff didn't always travel with him directly all the time. This is the part that people are not remembering. This is the part that people are not remembering. Let me say it again. This is the part that people are not remembering. And this is the part that is going to come back to destroy Sean Diddy Combs. And I want y'all to think about this. They got the man, Mr. Perez, on the stand to say, he said it seemed like Jane Doe was into a willing participant in the free calls. Seemed is what he said, like she was a willing participant. Things aren't always as they seem. That's what you have to remember. But Brian Steele going overboard destroyed that argument that they made on Brianna Bonagolin on that 17th floor balcony, which they said she was a liar because they said that Diddy's name under Frank Black, not under Sean Combs, but under Frank Black, was shown, and they showed receipts. And this was paid with the company receipts as far as breakfast and all those other things. But they're showing you right here. They're showing you right here that they didn't even need Diddy's confirmation, according to Brian Steele. Because look at what he said. You made purchases in sex stores with the company credit card? Mr. Perez said, I did. Brian Steele said, but you don't know if Diddy paid. He says, I don't. So if that's the case, how can they be so sure in the Brianna Bonagolin case, the girl who was over the 17th balcony, when they said, oh man, we had charges to the room, they charged that automatically to your card, whoever was in that room. Anybody could have been in that room and got that breakfast charge to that room. Brian Steele thought he was cooking, but cooked himself. Let me repeat myself again. Brian Steele laid it out right there. He asked Mr. Perez, he says, the hotel was put in your name? You had to go set up the room, right? He said, yeah. And Brian Steele told y'all now why Diddy used alias names to check in these hotels. It wasn't using his own personal credit card because of the cameras and the paparazzi. If Diddy would have checked into any of these places with his real name, paparazzi would have been outside. They would have paid attention. He says, and if the room was registered as Sean Combs, there might be cameras outside, right? He said, right. There it was. Brian Steele got cooked. He exposed Diddy because their whole argument was Brianna Bonagolin, a woman who was dangled over that 17th balcony, allegedly. But there was no way Diddy could have did this because we have charges from the hotel where he was in New York, but it wasn't under his name. And the card wasn't in Diddy's personal credit card company. But then Brian Steele says right here, you made purchases with the sex stores. So he uses that same argument to try to dumb down and try to take responsibility away from Diddy with the company credit card when he made the purchases in the sex store. But then he tries to use it for the argument with Brianna Bonagolin, saying that, oh, this proves Diddy was over there in New York or New Jersey. Wrong. Cook, buddy. Two things cannot be true for your side. You can't have your cake and eat it too, sir. Brian Steele is trying to separate Diddy from the business credit cards. When he asked him, he said, you made purchases in the sex store with the company credit card? He said, I did. Brian Steele says, but you don't know if Mr. Combs paid, do you? He said, I don't. Right? So how would Brian Steele and the Diddy's legal team know that it was Diddy who paid with the company credit card in that hotel when they said that they were over in the hotel and had those receipts that wasn't in Diddy's name when Brianna Bonagolin got hung over that 17th floor balcony? Make it make sense. Make it make sense. So even if you were using company credit cards, Brian Steele has established, he has established in his own line of questioning by asking him, but you don't know if Diddy paid. So if he doesn't know if Diddy paid with the company credit card, then how the hell do you know that Diddy paid with the company credit card when y'all said that's what he did in that hotel with Brianna Bonagolin? Ethered. Max level ether, sir. And this is what happens when you try to overcook. You get cooked. Easy, easy, easy work. Easy work, y'all. Very easy work, y'all. Very easy work. Very easy work, y'all. Right? So now, Brian Steele says, right? Mr. Perez. And he says, make sure all the screens are turned off. He says, these are between you and Jane. What did you say to her? He said, I was setting up a King's night. She was telling me what to get. Brian Steele says she is cooperating and setting it up. Here, the chef says he's making her avocado toast. She asked for hot tea and honey to go with a heart emoji. And you replied, I loved it, said Mr. Perez. Brian Steele said, and you wrote, Perez said, I wrote, have a good flight and dinner. I want photos of you and the blank gang. Right? Right? I want photos of you and the blank gang. Right? Right? Y'all heard this, right? Right? Now y'all see this. Check it out, y'all. Brian Steele said, she wrote to you, he's looking to smoke. And you wrote, coming? He said, yep. Brian Steele said, Your Honor, I don't have any further questions. And then the government comes back and says, was getting these things for Jane Doe a part of your job? He says, yes, it was. It was a part of his job. Brian Steele is getting exposed right here in front of the world. Diddy's team. Brian, you're a very smart lawyer, but you're too smart for your own good, sir. You, sir, took away Diddy's alibi for Brianna Bongolan when y'all said that the reason why she was lying about the 17th floor balcony incident was because Diddy was in a different state and y'all had receipts to prove those payments. That, sir, was nullified by today's questioning by you. When you sat up there and asked one of his assistants if he put hotels in his name, when he went up to set up those rooms, and if the room was registered to Sean Combs, there might be cameras outside. You set the stage, and then you came back, and you said you made purchases in the sex store with the company credit card. And he said, I did. And Brian Steele says, but you don't know if Diddy paid. He said, I don't. That takes away y'all's alibi for Brianna Bongolan when you guys said that your alibi was that Diddy had receipts from payments on the other coast, which prove he was on the other coast. But then you say today, when you don't need that argument, you said, but you don't know if Diddy paid with that company credit card or not. And Mr. Perez says, I don't know. Because he wouldn't know if Diddy paid directly because he was just doing what he was told to do, which was pay with the company credit card. Game, set, match. Tammy boy, we've already did a whole 2.5 hour video about that. You missed it. You need to go back and look at our channel. Salute to you though. Game, set, match, ladies and gentlemen. Brian Steele getting cooked. 3 the hard way. This cooking is everlasting, baby. I'm gonna repeat myself again. This cooking right here is everlasting, baby. This some everlasting cooking right here. Oh, you better believe it. Oh, you better believe it. And y'all know me, I don't miss nothing. I was right on top of it when he said that. Right on top of it. And the government says, was getting these things for Jane Doe a part of your job? He says, yes, it was. Says Mr. Perez. And then the government says, did you ever set up King Nights on vacation? He said, no. The government says, we can turn the public screen back on. Thank you. This item, new hookah, is that personal? He said, not necessarily. He said, in the baby oil, personal. Is that part of your job? He says, yes, it was. Which showed that Diddy used these people as a part of their job to set up their freak offs. Done, done, done. You're not going to win this, buddy. You're not going to win. You're not going to win this one. It's not going to happen. Right? And I'm telling you guys this. You guys, he is getting cooked. It's a part of his job. It's over with, bro. They're showing y'all the enterprise. Because he is on the stand. Not lied. He told the truth. But he just proved a RICO right there in front of the world. He had to do it. It was not on his personal time. And now, bang! The shot heard from around the world, y'all. And I will show y'all this again. For you guys who don't know what I'm talking about, I will show you again. Right? Once again, ladies and gentlemen, I will show you on the screen right now the shot that was just heard around the world from the feds as the federal government clapped back right now and just proved the enterprise, which I told y'all, the RICO is the bigger charge, not the sex trafficking. RICO is bigger than sex trafficking. And what they have just done is, they have just with this witness, without the shadow of a doubt, proved racketeering once again. Because as you see on your screen, the statement, it says it right there, ladies and gentlemen. The government says, did you ever set up King Nights on vacation? He says, no, I didn't. Not on vacation. Only on his job. The government says, we can turn the public screen back on. Thank you. This item, new hookah. Is that personal? He said, not necessarily. And the baby oil, is that personal? He said, no. He said, the baby oil, personal. Listen to this now. They said, we can turn the public screen back on. This item, new hookah. Is that personal? He said, not necessarily. And the baby oil, he said, personal. Part of your job? Yes. RICO proven. Game, set, and match. It was a part of his job. It was a part of his job. Game over. Game over. Game over. Right? They're showing y'all right now. Showing y'all right now. He said in open court, it was a part of his job. Diddy can try and duck this all he wants, but these are his businesses, and he is responsible when it's his businesses. Right? Diddy thought he was smart, using buffers to pay for his things so it wouldn't directly be tracked back to him. But what Diddy didn't know is that him using the buffers of his own business would create a criminal racketeering enterprise that would bigger and worse destroy him. And that's the part Diddy did not realize, is that would destroy him. Lord, oh Lord, have mercy. Man. Unbelievable, man. Unbelievable, man. Wow. Wow. Right? And so if it's a job, it incriminates you. That's why he had to take the fifth, to avoid self-incrimination. He's toast. He's toast. Absolute toast. Absolute toast. And salute to everybody that's tapped in, man. I appreciate all of y'all that's tapped in to the channel. Love, honor, respect to all of y'all. Appreciate everybody that's in here. Right? Y'all already know what it is. He's out of here, y'all. Definitely out of here. All right? Bad look. On Diddy's team. Because now it is one of these situations, ladies and gentlemen, to where it is over with. Hold on, y'all. Hold on, y'all.
For some time, I thought I was also going to die. But when I opened my eyes, I realized I was alive, and I tried to unbuckle myself from the seat and escape from where I could. It was in front of my eyes that the air hostess and others died. After the takeoff, within a minute, it felt like the plane came to a standstill for 5 to 10 seconds. The green and white cabin lights turned on in the flight. I could feel engine thrust increasing to go up, but it crashed with speed into the building. The side of the plane I was in, it landed on the ground floor of the hostel. I don't know about the other parts of the plane, but where I landed was on the ground. I could see that there was space outside the aircraft, so when my door broke, I tried to escape through a little space, and I did. On the opposite side of the plane was the building wall, so nobody could have escaped. The plane crashed there. There was some space where I landed. I don't know how I managed to escape. It was in front of my eyes that the air hostess and others died.
Damn. My bad, y'all. I was listening to that Soul Survivor. All right, you guys. So, they had a sidebar, and the government says, we move to introduce these exhibits under seal. So the government just introduced some exhibits under seal, y'all. The judge granted it. He said, the jurors, you may leave for the weekend. Don't talk about or read about the case. Now, the judge says on Juror 6, under Fazo case, Second Circuit, District Court have a broad discretion. All right? Something's going on. Hold on, y'all. They just filed something under seal. The government. The government has a plan up their sleeve, y'all. Is it Christina Korn? The government just filed something under seal, everybody. What did they just file under seal? They filed certain exhibits under seal. But what is it about? We're going to find out right now. Hold on. Also about that juror. The judge says on Juror 6 under the Fazo case, Second Circuit, the District Court has a broad decision or discretion. The judge says in the morning when we addressed this, I said based on the record, I was not sure an inquiry was needed. During the breaks, I looked at the transcript from the robing room and from voir dire. That is not evidence of bias. There is no evidence of bias, is what the judge is saying right now. Hold on, y'all. It's going down right now. Hold on. Let me see what he's saying, though. Hold on. Hold on, y'all. It's the one right here. Hold on, y'all. Hold on. Hold on, y'all. Hold on. Hold on, you guys. Hold on. What? What? Hold on, you guys. What the hell is going on? Hold on, you guys. Hold on one second. Something is going on in this courtroom. With this, hold on. Something is going on in this courtroom right now. The judge says the juror indicated he moved to New Jersey with his girlfriend. It may not be permanent, but has been for the past few weeks. That was initially. There was a long break to confer. When the juror returned to the court, asked, and he said 4 to 5 days a week in New York. Huh? Hold on. Let me get this right, y'all. Hold on. Something's going on. Hold on, y'all. Hold on. Something going on. Hold on. Hold on, y'all. Hold on one second, you guys. What? Hold on, you guys. Hold on. He said the juror indicated he moved to New Jersey with his girlfriend. It may not be permanent, but has been for the past few weeks. That was initially. There was a long break to confer. When the juror returned to the court, asked, when the juror returned, the court asked, and he said 4 to 5 days a week in New York. Huh? Hold on, you guys. This not making no sense. Hold on. Hold on, you guys. Something not right about this. Hold on. Hold on, y'all. Hold on. Hold on. Let's see what he's talking about. Still going on. Hold on, y'all. All right, hold on, y'all. What? And they said they used Tree Star. Now, Tree Star has already been caught up in uh some type of issue. Now, I'm talk about that later on tonight. Hold on one second, you guys. It's something. Hold on. It's something we missing over here. Hold on, y'all. I'm missing something, y'all. Hold on one second. What? Let me see some, y'all. The judge says in the robing room, he said the daughter lived in New Jersey. Then he said in the Bronx with his aunt. And the voir dire, he said he lived with his girlfriend who lives in New Jersey. These are inconsistencies. There's more in the U.S. letter, not in docket. Oh, shit. Something going on with this juror, dog. Oh, shit. Hold on, y'all. Hold on. A juror may not have been honest. Hold on, y'all. Hold on, bro. Man, they got a juror red-handed, bro. Hold on, bro. Hold on, dog. So they're saying in the roving room, the juror said that his daughter lived in New Jersey. Then he said in the Bronx with his aunt. Lied. And the voir dire, he said he lived with his girlfriend who lives in New Jersey. These are inconsistencies. Oh, shit. Hold on now. Oh, shit. Hold on, y'all. Hold on, y'all. Hold on, y'all. What the freak? Hold on 1 second, y'all. Oh, shit. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on, y'all. Diddy is not going to walk. Diddy is not walking, sir. Diddy is not walking. Diddy got done bad today. They proved enterprise today. They definitely proved enterprise today. Diddy is going to prison for life. They proved enterprise today. I don't know which court you was watching. They proved enterprise today. They definitely proved enterprise today. Damn. Lord have mercy. Hold on, y'all. Hold on, y'all. Hold on. Hold on. Y'all wait with me right here, man. Y'all wait with me right here. It's about to be explosive right here. Man. The judge says the court does not feel further inquiry is required. The reason we have alternate jurors is if questions arise. Whether there's a question like this, the juror, oh, they dismissed him. They dismissed him. I'll be right back, y'all.
All right, you guys. So we appreciate everybody that popped in, supported this video. Make sure that you guys shop our merch. We got that new A-Weapons merchandise right there below this video. All you got to do is look below. The links will be pinned at the top of the comment section as well to get the merch, to donate, support the channel, and subscribe to our podcast show. You'll see all those links pinned at the top of the comment section of this